It's really cold in my garage, so if you see me shivering or moving around a lot, that's why. But anyway, what we're gonna do is go through some progressions. So we're just gonna kind of break down the clean into a bunch of different movements and kind of progress our way into that full power clean. I want us to do 5 reps of every movement. And then once we've gone through the entire progression, that's going to count as 1 set. If you have something like a PVC pipe, like a broom or a mop or whatever it is, a lighter barbell, you should probably run through it with just that first and then progress your way into a barbell once you're comfortable with everything. If not, you can start with just the barbell, that's fine too. But we're going to go through the full progression. That's going to count as 1 set. Then you're going to rest however long you need to rest, just recuperate. Your arms will probably be a little tired if you're doing this with the barbell. But you're going to go through that for 3 sets. If you need to go through it for more, then just go back and watch the video and do it more times. But the goal is to get the technique kind of down packed. So go through it however many times you need to. Go slow, focus on form, focus on technique, not so much about speed or power or any weight, stuff like that. We're going to go through the clean progression, and then afterwards we're going to go through the snatch progression. I want you to do both. They're very similar, so once you watch this full clean progression, you'll pretty much be able to fly through that snatch progression. It's almost the same thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with your clean grip, hands right outside your hips. And you want to make sure that when you stand up and your shoulders are pulled back and your arms are locked out, wherever that bar is resting is where it needs to finish every time, or it's where it needs to make contact when we get into our pulls and our cleans. That bar's got to get right back to that spot. You shouldn't be hitting any lower, shouldn't be hitting any higher. Bar hits right here where it started. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 5 RDLs. So slight bend in your knees. You're going to drive your butt back till that bar gets down to mid-shin. Then stand it up. Getting that bar right back to where it started. What I want you to make sure you're doing on this is that once that bar gets past your knees, it stays along your thighs and gets back to that spot that it started. I don't want to see bar coming past your knees and then this big gap in between your legs and that bar. Keep that bar nice and close along your legs. So after you do those 5 RDLs with that bar along your legs and getting it back to your hips, you're going to move on to 5 clean high pulls. So now this is where we're going to initiate that hip extension into your shrug and into that high pull. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with the bar just below your knees. Make sure when you're in this position that your shoulders are stacked over the bar. You don't want to be leaning back and you don't want to be too far forward. Shoulders stacked right over the bar. And then again, after it gets past your knees, keep it along your thighs. Then I want you to pause when that bar gets back to where it started. You should still have some bend in your hips and in your knees. You shouldn't be here, shouldn't be locked out. Once that bar gets back to where it started, I want you to pause for a quick second and then get your hips to shoot the bar into your shrug and into your high pull. Alright, so a couple things I noticed in your video was that when you were making your high pull, you were pulling your elbows back. Try to keep your elbows up and your knuckles down. If you pull your elbows back, that bar is going to come out in front of your body. So keep your knuckles down, pull high and wide with your elbows rather than here. Alright, so 5 of these clean high pulls. Then after that, you're going to move on to a muscle clean. The muscle clean is the same thing. Everything stays the same. Get it past your knees. Keep it along your thighs. Pause for a second. Then I want you to shoot your hips up into that shrug. Another thing I noticed is that you were kind of shrugging the bar into your hips rather than getting your hips to shrug into, rather than getting your hips to shoot up into that shrug. Alright, so stay along your thighs, open up, then shrug, high pull, then just turn your elbows through, work on getting those elbows through nice and fast. Really focus on keeping your knuckles down in that high pull. Alright, then after you do 5 of those, you're going to move on to the power clean. Power clean is the exact same thing, keeping all the same principles, but now what you want to do is just make sure that after you open your hips, you're shooting your butt back as fast as you can. What a lot of people tend to do, you didn't do this so much, but just keep it in mind, is you don't want to catch it with your knees forward and your butt straight down. You want to sit your butt back in that catch. And it's got to be fast. As soon as you open your hips, you're going to snap them shut. So then after that, if you want, you can go down and start from your mid shin like you're doing a power clean from the floor. Same thing, bar stays along your thighs after you get past your knees. And be explosive getting back into that power clean. So again, you're going to do 5 reps of each one of those progressions. The biggest points I want you to keep in mind is keeping that bar along your thighs, getting the bar to where it started, and letting your hips be what sends the bar into your shrug. Don't shrug before it gets to your hips. With that being said, we're going to go into the snatch. Same things apply for the snatch, but now you're going to be nice and wide. Your snatches looked a lot better than your cleans did. What a lot of people have problem with on their snatches is not getting their hips involved, but you did good with that. But we're still going to run through this progression anyway. So it's all the same movements really, just with that wider grip. When you've got your snatch grip, you want to make sure you're wide enough so that the bar starts on the waistline of like your pants or your shorts. You don't want to be as low as you are on the clean, but you don't want to be way up at your stomach. You want to be maybe like an inch or 2 below your belly button. And then just like the clean, you want to make sure the bar gets back to that spot every single time. So we'll start with 5 RDLs. Start mid-shin, drive that bar along your legs, stand up all the way 5 times. And after you do 5 of those, you've got 5 of the snatch high pulls. Start below your knees, keep it along your thighs, open up your hips, shrug and pull. Same thing as the clean, make sure your knuckles stay down, elbows stay high. Don't let that bar get out in front of you. Then after that one, you've got your 5 muscle snatches. Drive along your legs, get it to your hips, then finish by really pulling those elbows high, keeping the bar close, and then just snapping your head through. After you do 5 of those, you'll have your 5 power snatches. So the bar will still start just below your knees, just like the clean. Once you open those hips, sit your butt back and drive your knees out. Don't let yourself drive your knees forward. So you've got 5 of those. Really make sure that your hips are sending the bar into your shrug and your pull, and then sit your butt back. All right.